Just in our little quick round of wild evangelical stuff, here is some very, very exciting new revelations of of truth and justice coming from none other than the Jim Bakker Show. For real heads of TMBS, when we hit 1,000 patrons on TMBS, we ate.
Oh shit! They still have the bucket up there. They got all the shit up there.
They got
That is
all the buckets.
hilarious.
They got some medicine for
Pills.
you. They got some pills. I'm assuming that's a branded water bottle. No, I mean they're going and they do have the devil's apple, but we'll forgive them for that transgression. Wild stuff, because like we'll play this, but again, this goes into like who is behind the DeSantis stuff, because it's interesting the corners of the right that are really pushing Ron DeSantis, or as we'll learn during this segment here, we should be calling Ronald DeSantis. But let's just play this a little bit. This is a self-proclaimed Christian prophet. His name's escaping me. I'll look it up while we're playing the clip.
We need to watch Ron DeSantis because the Lord is going to use him in a powerful way. I had several years ago a vision that I went into where I saw two palm trees.
Charlie
And
Sham.
I saw one of them was planted in California, the other one in Florida. And I said, Lord, what is this, these two palm trees? He said, this palm tree from California is Ronald Reagan. This palm tree that is in Florida is Ron DeSantis. He said, Ron DeSantis, or Ronald DeSantis, is the second, has an anointing similar to Ron.
Wait, I would just say, like, going back to the monster thing, like, same kind of shit too, right? Oh, Ron DeSantis? Ronald Reagan? The connections are inarguable.
Ronald Reagan, and I saw Ron DeSantis as a tree of righteousness, that palm tree, and I saw it uprooted from Florida and brought to Washington, D.C., and planted in Washington, D.C. And as the storms came, he was not moved.
It was God.
That's right.
There's something about
That's right.
Ron DeSantis that we need to begin to pray for. We need to begin to look at, because his ultimate future is to have a position in the United States as the president and be planted in Washington, D.C. And he would be like a Ronald Reagan.
I think I'm the palm tree.
So disloyal. So horrible.
That guy looks like a Nick Kroll character.
All right, ready for this? Ready? Okay. Because the name is going to fucking send you. The name is about to send you, Matt. First name, Charlie. Last name, Champ.
Right, yeah. Champ.
Champ. It's pretty good. From Later Glory Ministries. Let's see where he's preaching. He's from
He's a
Tennessee.
rhino. Charlie Rhino.
He is a rhino.
First of
yeah,
all,
man.
that doesn't sound like Christianity to me. You're having fever dreams? It sounds like some sort of like spiritual quest you're on, not the Bible, like 2 Corinthians.
No, I mean, Trump is going to have I can't believe Bakker and all of them have turned their back on Trump so quickly, though.
Yeah.
He's been very good. Trump's been very good to the evangelical community. He gave them everything that they wanted. What's
That's
Ron
a good
DeSantis?
point.
You know, they're being
Like,
they're
it's
being
one
cruel.
thing for these like college degreed conservative National
That's what I'm
Review.
saying.
Like, it is one thing for those folks to cuckify for DeSantis. These freaks like Trump, you don't want to lose them. I don't think, but yeah. I mean, some weird's going on with our boy Champ there. Like that type of.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I think there's some money out there for. I mean, there certainly has to be, right? But who's behind it? Because, like, as we've said before on the show, like, there's AstroTurf DeSantis stuff going on right now. Like, in my opinion, there's no doubt about it. Anytime we've done anything that even has the tag on the YouTube, like metadata, DeSantis, our videos will get slammed with DeSantis folks, right? And like if they're showing up on our small lefty podcast to do DeSantis shit, like, and they're showing up talking about palm trees and God on the Jim Bakker show, there's some orchestration here, and I don't want to cast aspersions, so I don't know if it's coming from Meatball Ron. Have you heard that? You're on vacation for that. Did you?
No, I do love Meatball Ron, which the Times thought was a comment on his appearance. And to me, it's just maybe I think it's a comment on his ethnicity, being an Italian guy.
Trump bringing back like old school white on white racism for the 2020 presidential campaign is going to be wild to see how that plays out. No, I mean, like, but there's something going on with DeSantis, and like I'm definitely of the opinion that DeSantis is somebody to watch. Like, he's somebody. I don't think it's worth it sometimes to play this like devil's game of picking who's going to be worse at Trump or DeSantis. I think both really dark, and we should
Yeah.
try to prevent those things from happening.
I mean, the thing is, like, probably whoever's going to be the next president is pretty shitty. Right?
I think
But-
Trump still got it though.
Do you think? But I actually think it's worthwhile going into like Trump. I think if I had to pick, if you have to choose me, and I'm casting if I'm casting the deciding ballot, I'm voting for Trump over Ron DeSantis.
Yeah,
Honestly, because one, I don't want anti-vax Ron to beat our vax boy himself, Donald Trump. Because I think that would be
the
like
beautiful vaccine is
yeah. And I also think like Trump animates people in a way that is more educational than something like Ron DeSantis is, which I think you will get like a lot of like back to normalish style. Like Trump is a clear lesson, and it's like not necessarily like it doesn't lead to like necessarily anything good. Like Jimmy Dore wanted it to lead to Elizabeth Warren presidency. Like I think it leads to a certain type of mobilization that isn't necessarily helpful entirely, but I think it's better than the one you get if DeSantis is allowed to just do his, culture war shit from the White House.
I mean, DeSantis is more embedded than Trump for sure.
Yeah.
In a lot of those forces. I don't know. I want to be careful about playing any kind of games with like who do you want? A lot of people, and I get it, it's funny. Like a lot of people have been sort of pushing us like, let's get a DeSantis win and then a Trump third party run. Which again is like funny, but like I think more likely than not, like the thing about Trump is Trump has been completely cucked by like the Republican Party. And you could see that like he's still gonna do stop the steal stuff, like they can't, cage that bull. But they can, settle him down a little bit, give him a couple rubs, keep him calm.
But it's funny because I don't know if you saw his reaction to the State of the Union, where he's like, Joe, he didn't mention certain things, but there's time for that. He did a good job. And also, look at Jill. She's wearing a really nice dress. That it would be very funny to me if Trump was paying it to be like, if DeSantis beats him, like he just endorses Biden. And I don't think that's impossible. I honestly don't. I don't think he gives a fuck. And
Some
like
Irish, yeah.
yeah. And I also think it's funny, like the strongest play DeSantis could make is you're a fucking loser, bro. You lost to Joe Brandon. But they all have an article of faith that didn't actually happen. Whether it's the voting machines owned by Hugo, or like fixed by Hugo Chavez or whatever the fuck you're saying, or the upscale Blake Masters version, which is the Hunter Biden story being limited, was equivalent to a big tech coup. They can't admit that Trump took a big fat L. And so like if you can't call him a loser, like that's the only thing, then he's still a winner. He's still your boy. And I think that's why he wins ultimately.
No, I think big loser Trump is definitely probably the best strategy to go into it. But I don't know. I mean, the base just still loves Trump so much. I mean, again, not to be too parochial or anything like that, but like I am really looking forward to like a very like limp like Abbott like trying to get in on that party. Just like falling on his face because
Well,
um
yeah,
yeah.
Haley got into it, and Kristi Noem in South Dakota just passed legislation,
Whoa,
anti-trans legislation. That
that's
wasn't clear
horrible.
that she would definitely do that because the health system in the state is supportive of like not leaving their fucking patients out to dry. And so it was
Mm,
unclear if Noem would do that. The sign that she did it suggests to me she's running for president.
mm.
Now, I do want to play this from
Yes,
January
please.
29th. This is Trump talking about Nikki Haley and DeSantis.
Nikki Haley called me the other day to talk to me. I talked to her for a little while, but I said, look, go by your heart if you want to run. She's publicly stated I would never run against my president. He was a great president. Florida was actually closed for a very long period of time. Remember, he closed the beaches and everything else. They're trying to rewrite history.
That is so like that whole
Yeah.
thing where he's like he closed it down too, and Trump's also like nodded like in South Dakota they didn't close it like they did in Florida. I wish Trump was like there's a weakness though in that he's not able to say like actually the vaccine stuff I did save lives. He's running away from it in a way that I think he's just a little bit weak, Trump. And if you do lose, I would say like that would be where I start.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when Nikki I mean, people an episode that we did that I don't think got enough love was our conversation with um Paul Bowers in South Carolina on Nikki Haley. I highly suggest people check that out
Mhm.
because Nikki Haley is a little bit of an enigma in the sense of she sort of cozied herself up to like a few different factions inside the Republican Party. I think her intention is to sort of restore um I don't know, like an older version, like older in the sense of like 2000s old
Bush, yeah.
version of like the Republican Party. But I don't see the energy being there for that at all right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what like I mean maybe it's money that cuz I mean you run a presidential campaign, you can float some money to yourself on the end of it. She's got a nice ass life, like a pretty decent house, good community, got money. She's well off, right? So it's not like
Mhm.
she's like needing to do a grift. I mean, the presidential run is pretty well because it's just like there's no way in hell that we're going from Donald J. Trump as the nominee for the Republican Party to Nikki Haley.
Yeah, I wonder, like, at a certain point, I think, like, some of these people, they're definitely running because they want to win, but I also think there's, like, stalking horse shit that's definitely going to be going on. And when, Trump, it's hard to know which, I wouldn't be able to determine, like, is Haley for Trump or DeSantis? But the way Trump says, like, she said she would never run against my president. He was a great president. And then she declares, it seems like maybe he doesn't have as many people behind him as he wants.